Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone from wherever in the world you're joining us from. My name is Marianne Ochola. I am the head of partnerships and programs at Shujaz Inc. Shujaz Inc. has been in partnership with the IKEA Foundation since 2018 to support Kenya's young micro entrepreneurs increase their incomes and take control. Before we start, I would like to give you a quick introduction of who we are and what we do by sharing this short video. We are Shujaz Inc., East Africa's biggest youth brand. We reach 56% of Kenyans aged 15 to 24 years old and 23% of Tanzanians in the same age group. That's 7.5 million young people in East Africa. We're a team of 60 plus based in Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, though now largely working from home. And our engagement with young people is rooted in data. All to say, we understand East Africa's youth really, really well. So before we proceed, just wanted to give you a map of where Kenya and Tanzania is, depending on where you're joining us from. So just to give you a view of that's Kenya and Tanzania on the big continent that is Africa. I'd now like to give you contextual background of our work with the IKEA Foundation. You know, we like to say that youth are the future. The truth is, youth are the present. 3 in 5 Kenyans today are under the age of 25 years old. That's 60% of Kenya's population. This age group forms 35% of Kenya's working population. Young Kenyans dream of formal employment, sitting behind a desk, a formal contract. The belief is that this is what financial security looks like. But the truth is, less than 10% of Kenyans aged 15 and 24 are going to be able to achieve that dream of a formal job. More than 90% will have to contend with finding self-employment in the informal sector. That's because much as 900,000 young people are entering the job market each year today, the economy is creating less than 80,000 jobs in the formal sector. And young people keep telling us that they have been fed this unrealistic dream that if you go to school, work hard enough, get really good grades, that you're going to be able to secure that elusive formal job, that you're going to get, financial security finally. But the reality is each year they keep seeing 90% of their peers join them in villages, in towns, jobless and not secure that formal job. They feel paralyzed. They feel disappointed. What the current educational system in Kenya is feeding into is cruel optimism. But there is an alternative. 3 million of young Kenyans today, from our data, are earning a living in the informal sector, running informal businesses, commonly known as hustles, fixing cars, making people's hair, running several odd jobs, working 40 hours a week, and quietly adding millions of dollars into the Kenyan economy. They have found a solution to the formal job deficit. And I'd like to introduce you to some of them.
Kwa majina naitwa Dora na hustle yangu ni ya fast food.
Okay, mimi naitwa Levis. Hustle yangu ni Nasaiba Cafe.
Mimi naitwa Sam. Hustle yangu ni cleaning.
Sisi ni wasee. Mimi naitwa Diana ama mnaweza niita D. Sahii tuna deal na usanii. Kuna shule ya arts inaitwa Home School of Arts and Music.
Put more effort in such a way that nafaa ni kuwe na more sidebars. Ya hiyo vision yangu. Ingine ni kuwe na computer schools.
Ningependa kuemploy other youth na at least in years to come nikuwe na food chain yangu nyingi around hapa.
So mi kuna kitu moja inakuanga imenibamba sana nikiwa mtaani. Wasee wana potential sana. Wasee hata kama wana masato ajenda mashule, au vijana wana potential. Kuwaleta pamoja inaweza kuwa fiti sana, tukuwe na zile structures zenye zinasaidia kuleta wasee pamoja. Alafu tunapata fund, unaona. Ukiwa tuna kitu iko streamline, at least sisi wenyewe tunaweza tambulika, tupatiwe platforms, tunajua production inauzwa hii place, inaweza kuwa fiti sana.
Watu wako na talents Kenya. Talents ni mingi, people are creative. Lakini sasa wenye wana manage hizi talents wanatu exploit badala ya kutusaidia kugrow. Talanta si kubuild jina ama kuwa kwa screen. Talanta ni kuwa able kubuild whatever you feel within na kuiput out in the public. Hata kama ni flowers, hata kama ni kuchora ama kuimba. Let us support our own and get our content out there. Juu Kenya tunaweza.
Kenya's young micro-entrepreneurs earn double the average income of young people their age. From our data, 31% of young Kenyans are earning $82 a month. That's against the national average of Kenyans that age at $43. When we ask young micro-entrepreneurs, what does success look like for you? Beyond that income, they will also tell you, I want to be able to mentor somebody else, another young person like me. I want to be able to uplift my community. I want to be able to do something for my family. So success for them is not just in earning an income, it is also in lifting their communities. We've gone on to research these, micro-entrepreneurs and find out that 30% of them, those who are able to earn $95 per month and above, go on and employ one more person. 9% of them who earn way more than that employ a second one. So they're also creating opportunities for other young people, providing that leg up for others like them. We're really proud of our work with the IKEA Foundation because this is how we've been able to support young people in increasing their incomes and taking control. And we've done this through a number of ways. We believe the first step is in telling a new story. So this is in mitigating the risks born out of that cruel optimism of expecting a formal job and connecting that to financial security. So through our ventures, we're telling a different story, but one that is honest, optimistic, and achievable. This story is about role modeling, celebrating micro-entrepreneurs, showcasing the impact that they're able to have economically and socially in their communities. And we are leveraging our multimedia platforms that as at 2019 was reaching 56% of Kenyan youth to drive social norm change. We leverage our comic, which reaches 7.3 million youth. We leverage our multimedia platform platforms, which are reaching 4 million, young people. We also leverage online and offline meetups to change that narrative about micro entrepreneurship, to change the norm of this is what success looks like, and to start to tell that different story. The second approach in our work with the IKEA Foundation is upskilling entrepreneurs. Young people are often telling us that they value learning from other successful micro entrepreneurs like themselves, that they value seeing a role model doing it and them learning from that. That reciprocal value that is created when one young person mentors another not only imparts skills, but is also imparting self-esteem, it's imparting imparting agency. And that's where norms start to change. And as Shujaz Inc., we've discovered that this magic happens when it's both online, as happens through our social media pages, but also offline. Offline meetups facilitated by other young micro entrepreneurs and creating networking opportunities and skilling opportunities. And I'd like to hear I'd like you to hear from one of these young people and how they came to find an opportunity through this upskilling.
Kitu ilifanya nianze hii hustle. I wanted to be my own boss. Mimi napenda social media sana. Nilikuwa najiuliza hii pesa watu make online ni gani? So nikaona best yangu anaitwa Daisy. So Daisy aliona nywele online. Akapost nani anauza hii nywele kwa Kilimani Moms Marketplace. The whole day nobody answered. And I was like, so this hair is not even there. So nikachukua simu tu, nikaona anaziita ombre. So nilisearch ombre braids Kenya. So nilitafuta nani anauza hizo braids Kenya. Nipata namba ya mama anaitwa Betty. Akanitumia colors, nikajua bas. Huyu akona mingi. Nikapigia Daisy, akaniambia okay, niletee 4 tao. Nikasema bas, haso ni hii.
And part of the learning is using a language that young people can understand each other in. This is Sheng. The language is Sheng. It's really Swahili, but as spoken, in the streets, in the towns, in the villages. So what this lady is sharing is how she went onto Facebook and she connected with someone who was able to sell her hair products, and she was able to on-sell those hair products, and a business was born. So this is an example of what a peer-to-peer video looks like, and one that will inspire somebody else to just pick up the mantle and explore a business opportunity. The third approach that we are using in our partnership with the IKEA Foundation is connecting entrepreneurs online and in person. And what young people constantly tell us is that peer mentorship, them when they feel that someone like me did something and they succeeded, not a lofty role model, but someone like me, somebody who's been through the same experiences as me, that sort of peer-to-peer mentorship is very powerful, leveraging both online and in-person platforms. And we constantly collect our fun stories. And one of them here is telling us that I lost my job early this year as a chef in a hotel. It was the darkest moment in my life. And I got amazing advice from Shujaz's followers on how I could start my own bakery. And now I'm supplying shops around Mombasa. So Mombasa is a port city, and like many other parts of the world, the hospitality sector has been decimated by COVID. But this Shujaz fan got advice online and has taken matters into her own hands and started her own bakery. We're really proud of our partnership and the much support that we're providing to young Kenyans to take control of their lives. Together, we've reached 7.7 million young people with norm-shifting media, telling stories, showcasing role models on our multimedia platforms. And Dennis tells a story of how he started a salon business as a second hustle after attending a Shujaz Biz meetup. He says one of the topics they discussed was taking risks in businesses. The third approach in our partnership with the IKEA Foundation is in connecting entrepreneurs. Young people have consistently told us that they value reciprocal peer-to-peer connections with other micro-entrepreneurs like themselves. And this is either online through our multimedia channels or in person through physical meetups that are organized by micro-entrepreneurs themselves. These connections create powerful and meaningful networks that young people not only get skills from, but also information and inspiration. One of our fans told us that she lost her job early as a chef. She was working in a hotel. It was the darkest moment in my life. I got amazing advice from Shuja's followers on how I could start my own bakery. Now, I supply local shops around Mombasa. An example of peer mentorship in action. Together with the IKEA Foundation, we are supporting young Kenyans to take control of their lives, and we've so far had significant impact. We've reached 7.7 young people with norm-shifting media. This is telling stories, having role models, examples shared in our multimedia platforms. Dennis, one of our fans, shares a story of how this norm-shifting media impacted him in his journey to micro-entrepreneurship. And he says, I started a salon business as a second hustle after I attended a Shuja's Biz meetup. One of the topics we discussed was taking risks in business. We also talked about the importance of starting small, even when the capital seems too little. It is from this that I decided to start the salon business because I have a certificate in beauty. Because of Shuja's Biz, I'm now able to keep track of my stock, earnings, and debts. Before Shuja's Biz, I wasn't doing all of this. And whatever money I spent it all on anything really. Now I know the importance of being consistent in having a plan, because without a plan, you are bound to fail. The second way, the second impact we are having is training people like Dennis and the story that he just shared. So together with the IKEA Foundation, we've reached 243,000 young people with powerful training, both online and offline. And we have a story here of Ndonga, who is not just a micro-entrepreneur, but he's a hub host. A hub host is a micro-entrepreneur who uses his business premises. When business is slow, he invites others to learn from each other and to connect and to share ideas. And this is what Ndonga had to say. I hated to see my friends broke all the time and felt like I couldn't do anything to help them. When I was told about Shuja's Biz, I thought being a host could be an opportunity to change that. The best thing about Shuja's Biz is that it brought us together. We could connect and share our ideas. Some of us had a little money, but lacked ideas on what sort of businesses to start. Others had ideas, but no money. And some people already ran hustles, but didn't know how to manage the profits they made. We shared different ideas, such as saving in a chama. A chama is a self-help group, or getting loans from friends and savings and credits associations. In the end, the people who came along said they were asleep, but after attending Shuja's Biz, they woke up. That brings me to the end of my presentation of our amazing partnership with the IKEA Foundation. And I'm now open to your questions, to your comments, and to a discussion. Thank you. Please feel free to ask questions afterwards. This presentation will still be available, and we can get back to you with any questions that you may have. Oh, okay, I see there is a question. So Latika is asking whether Shujaz also provides seed funding to these micro entrepreneurs. Now, currently we are offering norm-changing media, skilling, and peer-to-peer networking opportunities. But we have a venture. One of our ventures is seeking to connect young people to service providers, some of them including financial service providers. So once micro entrepreneurs come through the funnel, those of them who are the most successful or the most resilient towards the end are then able to be connected with financial service providers. But this seed funding does not come from Shujaz Inc. ourselves. Thank you, Latika, for that question. Right. It was a pleasure sharing about our amazing partnership with the IKEA Foundation with you. And yes, I hope to see you again next time. Thank you.